And welcome back to part three. We are leaving the lighthouse that ended on part two, and we are headed to another lighthouse called Cap de la Madeleine Lighthouse. And this section is a beautiful section, pretty much like the whole trip, but now that it's more mountainous, it actually pushes you inland here and there. So you kind of get a taste of both worlds, where sometimes we're by the lakes and in the mountains and nice curvy roads, or sometimes we're right on the ocean. So yeah, we had another great day of riding here. One thing to note along this section here is that there's pretty much the whole trip that there was plenty of small towns to get gas or food. There wasn't really any concern where there's just long stretches where you might want to pack snacks or make sure you top off or whatever the situation is. Yeah, every so many miles we had a small town that pretty much had anything you needed. So we had a few minutes to check out the lighthouse. The facility was really nice. We weren't able to actually go up on the lighthouse. It wasn't open this particular day. Like I mentioned in part one, we were cruising through in September, which it is a little bit quieter. So I suspect that they're just closed, probably for the rest of the year. But I was told that it was $5 to get in, so I'm sure it would have been worth it if it was open. So the final stretch was just getting to the campgrounds, and we were able to camp right on the beach. It was kind of fun. They were able to have fires right on the beach too. So yeah, we had a good time here, and I'll put the information in the description if anybody wants to stay here. So the next morning we woke up and we hit the road to Rimouski, where we were going to check out a submarine museum and a museum where there was a large shipwreck back in the day. And we didn't see many bikers, but this guy joined us here for a few minutes, past me, then here he is passing Robbie. So things got a little crazy when he tried to pass Joe. Joe pushed him onto oncoming traffic for some unknown reason. We're not really sure, but we did have a camera on Robbie's bike, which he was much closer, so we could really see what was going on and try to understand what happened. So the next footage is from Robbie's bike. So all joking aside, Joe just didn't see him until he was right next to him. No harm, no foul. So we kept on moving on, and so we stopped by to check out these sculptures here on the side of the ocean. I think we were at low tide because some of the other pictures I've seen of this place, the water's covering everywhere. that were walking in the pictures here. I'm not really sure what the sculptures are for. I think it's just mostly art, but it was definitely worthwhile to check out. Joe bonded with this one in particular, but the sculpture wasn't feeling the same about him. So we just got back on our bikes and made our way to the museums that we wanted to check out. So we made it to the Onondaga. The submarine was in service, I think, from 1967 to 2000. It's pretty massive. I've never been in a submarine. I was quite surprised how tight everything was. I'm about 6'1", and it would have been pretty rough for me to be in here servicing anything. But maybe there's restrictions on how tall people are in submarines. I'm not really sure, but the space is tight. There's something in every little nook and cranny to make sure you're using all the space as efficiently as possible. But yeah, it takes a bit to do the whole submarine. They do give you this little telephone looking thing that you could kind of have a self-guided tour, and you just push whatever button they tell you to, and based on the location of the submarine, and it gives you information about what's in that particular area. But yeah, this was awesome. I personally wouldn't want to be deep in the ocean in something like this, but it was really neat. Everything that you would have to work on is just so tight. I don't know how some of the guys fit in these little areas to service engine components or whatever it is, electrical. But yeah, this was quite an experience to check out. So if you're in the area, I would say you probably definitely want to stop by and check this out. So there's another museum right next to the submarine one called the Empress of Ireland. And this is about a ship that was built in 1908. And I think 8 years after it went into service, there was a major shipwreck where unfortunately the ship sank, and you know, most of the people on the boat passed away. I forgot all the details, but you could spend easily an hour and a half in this museum reading everything. But we had to kind of go through it quick, so I just have a few pictures because we did need to make our way to Quebec City this evening, and we still had a ways to go. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this part. I'll work on the last part, which includes everything all the way up until Quebec City, that I'll hopefully have done here in a week or so. But thanks very much. If you have any questions, just let me know.